You ever have one of those days that starts out ordinary, quiet, predictable, then by sunset your whole life has tilted sideways? Yeah. Mine started with sawdust, a mug of cheap coffee, and the kind of loneliness that settles into the bones when you've been a single dad longer than you ever planned to be. My name's Jack Morrow, 40 years old, former civil engineer from Redwood Plains, Colorado, now a small-town carpenter with calloused hands and a heart that never quite healed after losing my wife, Sarah. It's been 3 years since cancer took her, 3 years of trying to be mom and dad to my son, Charlie, 3 years of pretending that working with wood was enough to fill the silence. That afternoon, the workshop smelled like fresh-cut pine, golden light drifting in through the open door. I was finishing a set of shelves for a client, running my palm along the curve of the wood like it could tell me what my life was missing. It was peaceful, simple, steady. Everything I needed. Then I locked up, grabbed a bag of hardware supplies, and walked out into the cooling evening air. Right there, at the corner of Harper's General Store, my whole story took a turn I never saw coming. A woman stood near the vending machine with 3 kids around her. Clothes clean but worn, faces tired in a way kids shouldn't be tired. The youngest girl sat in a scuffed wheelchair, the wheels squeaking each time she shifted. The boy kept glancing around like he was ready to run, and the older girl stood tall and guarded, like she'd stepped into adulthood way too early. And their mom. God, she looked like someone fighting every battle alone. Beautiful, yes, but worn out beautiful, the kind that comes from holding up a world that keeps collapsing. For a moment, I hesitated. Half of me wanted to walk past. The other half, the part that knew too much about being lost, turned toward them. Evening, I said gently. Storm's coming in. You folks got somewhere to go? She straightened her back like dignity was something she still had to protect. We're fine, she said, though her voice said the opposite. Then the little girl in the chair whispered, barely audible, Mom. I'm hungry. That look on her mom's face. I knew it too well. The look of a parent who can't fix the one thing that matters. I swallowed the lump in my throat. I've got soup on the stove at home, I said softly, and fresh bread if you like that sort of thing. My boy Charlie would love the company. We don't know you, she said, and she wasn't wrong. So I introduced myself properly. I'm Jack. Carpenter. Father. Terrible cook according to my son but decent enough at soup. That earned the faintest ghost of a smile. She finally said, I'm Lily, and these are my kids, Grace, Oliver, and Rosie. As I folded Rosie's wheelchair into the truck, I noticed bruises on Lily's arms, fingerprints, the kind you don't get from bumping into a table. And something cold settled inside me. The drive home was quiet except for Rosie asking why the clouds were purple and me explaining sunsets like a science teacher on a mission. Lily stared out the window, watching the storm gather like she was afraid it had followed her. Inside my small house, Charlie warmed immediately to Rosie, showing her how his toy cars worked while Lily watched them with a mix of shock and relief. I made simple vegetable soup while Oliver hovered like he expected to be yelled at for breathing too loudly. Grace stayed on alert, eyes never settling, always watching me, the door, everything. Dinner was quiet at first. Kids eating like they hadn't had a warm meal in days, Lily whispering soft apologies to them that broke my heart every time she said them. Eventually, after the kids drifted off to sleep, she sat with me at the kitchen table and told me the truth. Her ex-husband was Ethan Hale, a wealthy architect in the city, charming in public, cruel behind closed doors. He'd thrown them out 2 nights earlier after yelling that their disabled daughter was too expensive to keep around. Then he changed the locks. She had no family, no car, no money, nothing but 3 kids and a past she couldn't outrun. And then she said something that punched the air right out of my chest. His name's Ethan Hale, owner of Hale & Partners Construction. The same man who tried to force me to falsify safety reports years ago. The reason I lost my engineering job. The reason I became a carpenter. I stared at her, stunned. He ruined my career, I whispered. And he ruined my family, she replied. Two strangers, broken by the same man. That night, Oliver broke a glass in the living room by accident. The kid froze, shaking so hard the shards rattled on the floor. I'm sorry. I'll be better, please don't dash. I knelt slowly, picking up the pieces. Hey. It's just a glass. Nothing to worry about. He blinked like I'd spoken a foreign language. And in that moment, I knew, their home hadn't just been unsafe. It had been hell. Over the next weeks, my small town wrapped its arms around them. We built a ramp for Rosie. Lowered switches so she could reach them. I crafted a raised garden bed so she could plant flowers without leaving her chair. I told Lily it was nothing, but she looked at me like I'd rearranged the entire universe. Every evening we worked together, me building, her sketching redesigns with a designer's elegance she tried to hide. Turned out, she'd once studied interior design before Ethan convinced her she had no talent. Spoiler, the woman was brilliant. Before long, our furniture side project turned into something customers wanted, her designs, my hands, our patched-up lives blending into something unexpectedly beautiful. The turning point came on Rosie's birthday. The whole town threw a picnic at the lake. Someone donated an all-terrain wheelchair. Rosie caught a fish, screamed with excitement, Lily laughed for the first time in months, a full-body laugh, bright and warm and alive. And I'll be honest, something inside me broke open hearing that laugh. Not pain. Relief. Hope. But peace doesn't last when someone like Ethan Hale is in the shadows. The black sedan showed up first, parked near the end of my road. Then the phone calls to Lily. Threatening. Demanding. Telling her she'd stolen the kids. Then one stormy night, the house went dark. Power out. Wind howling. And Rosie's oxygen concentrator shut off. Lily panicked. Grace started crying. Oliver froze. I grabbed a flashlight and sprinted into the pouring rain to get the generator I'd secretly built the week before, just in case. 5 minutes later, Rosie was breathing easy again. Lily stared at me like she couldn't understand why someone would prepare to save her child. Because she matters, I said simply. Because you all do. The next night, we almost kissed under the porch light. But then we smelled smoke. Flames exploded from the workshop behind the house. Fire climbing the walls like it had been waiting. I grabbed Rosie and ran through the smoke while the roof groaned and cracked behind us. We made it out moments before the back wall collapsed. And in the distance, barely visible through the chaos, I saw him. Ethan. Watching the fire with a phone to his ear. A message sent. I woke up in a hospital days later. Burns across my back. Lungs raw. Pain radiating from every breath. Lily was at my bedside. She hadn't slept. She looked destroyed. It's my fault, she whispered. We have to leave before he hurts someone else. Before I could answer, Rosie rolled into the room holding a drawing she'd made. Us. A family. 6 stick figures holding hands. You're the only one who never looked scared of my chair, she whispered, tears filling her eyes. Please don't make us go. In that moment, I knew there was no universe where I'd let them walk out of my life. But Ethan wasn't done. He arrived with a lawyer. Wearing a suit worth more than my truck. Calm as a man ordering lunch. I've come to take my family back, he said. They belong with me. You threw them out, Lily snapped. He smiled. Regrettable emotions. But my resources, my home, my stability, a judge will listen to me. Not a broke carpenter with a burned-down house. That was when Sheriff Cole stepped in. Funny thing, Ethan, he said. Phone records show you contacted a known arsonist the night of the fire. For the first time, Ethan Hale's face cracked. But the real battle happened in court. Ethan's lawyers tried to paint Lily as unstable. Tried to call my house a danger. Tried to call Rosie's needs beyond Lily's abilities. Tried to call me a manipulator. Then Rosie asked to speak. In her small voice, steady as a heartbeat, she told the court. My dad called me broken. But Mr. Jack built me a garden. And Charlie made toys I can play with. And Mom smiles now. I want to stay with the people who see me. Not the ones who look away. Silence fell like a stone. Even the judge had to look away to hide the emotion. Custody remained with Lily. No visitation for Ethan. And for the first time, he couldn't buy his way out. Months later, the town rebuilt my house from the ashes. Bigger. Safer. Designed for all of us. On the day we buried a time capsule in the foundation, each child placed something in the box, a toy car, a poem, a birdhouse, a drawing. And Lily placed her old wedding ring. For new beginnings, she whispered. We planted an oak tree in the yard as a promise of what we were building, roots deep, branches wide. And somewhere in that journey, between laughter, tears, courtrooms, and late-night building sessions, I realized I'd fallen in love. Not in the cinematic way. In the slow, quiet, healing way. The kind where broken hearts fit together like puzzle pieces. I don't know where life will take us next. But I know this. Some families are born. Others are built from ashes. And ours. Ours was worth every bruise, every scar, every storm. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Lily was right to stay and fight, or should she have taken the settlement and disappeared for safety? Do you think a man like Ethan deserves to lose all rights to his kids, or is that too extreme? Tell me in the comments. This story hits deep for people who've seen emotional abuse, custody battles, or communities that protect their own. And if you want more real, raw stories like this, hit like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs a reminder that family isn't about blood, it's about love.